Chef Buck here, and today we're going to make a canned fish recipe. We're going to make smoked fish dip. Who doesn't love smoked fish dip? Almost everybody doesn't love smoked fish dip. You don't know what you're missing, but fish dip can be expensive. In fact, we got this here. I think we paid $8.99 for this at Publix. This is a Key West smoked fish company stuff. This stuff is really good, but it's not very economical because there's not a lot in here. Can you imagine taking this to a party? You can't show up with this. But we can make, 2 to 3 times as much fish dip as this for at least the same price, but maybe even a little bit less. I think I paid $7 for these 2 cans. And this is sardines, smoked sardines. Doesn't that sound awful? I'm not a fan of sardines, which isn't true. I like sardines, but I like herring. But what's the difference between sardines and herring? There's no difference, except herring sounds magical.
Or hairy.
Or hairy. But sardines, that sounds like my dad sitting in a chair watching football, drinking beer, and stinking up the house. Because that's my sardine memories. But these are packed in natural juices. My dad used to eat sardines that were packed in mustard and tomato sauce.
I bet they were great.
Maybe I just matured over time. But I like sardines now, but I don't like the idea of sardines. But we love canned fish, and this is a great way to make a smoked fish dip for not a lot of money, relatively speaking, and we're gonna make it with as few ingredients as we can. We're just gonna use the canned sardines, 1 block of cream cheese. I'm gonna throw a little bit of horseradish in there, and then some lemon, just to brighten it up. If you wanted to do it, you could just use the sardines and the cream cheese and mix it up. And that would be a serviceable fish dip, That would work. That would just be 2 ingredients. But adding a little pizzazz is nice. And this here just makes it a little less heavy. If you add some lemon juice, it adds some brightness. Just gives it a little bit of snap. It's not as ploddingly cheesy. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open our sardines, and you can use any kind of sardines you like. I don't know why it is. Sardines always seem to be packed like this. You got to be very careful opening sardines.
You're talking about it's helpful. It's like self-contained.
What are you talking about? They've got it sealed with a razor blade. You got to be careful to open this so that you don't end up with a bunch of fish oil all over your shirt.
Drama king.
Look at this.
Good Lord.
I know that doesn't look very nice.
It's great.
Why do they pack fish like this?
To keep in the smoky goodness.
You can keep in the smoky goodness with any kind of lid. Look at this. You got to be super duper careful taking this off. So
at least it's not plastic. At least it's not plastic.
But at least if this was a plastic lid, I wouldn't have to worry about, cutting my jugular and bleeding out.
Actually, you would. That's the whole thing about packaging now.
If I just jerk this off here, it just splatters oil everywhere. So you got to be careful doing that.
Or you do it in the sink.
Or you do it in the sink, but you can still die.
Lots of nutrients.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about using this kind of canned fish. It has a lot of nutrition in it. Now we're going to go ahead and get the flesh out of here, get the sardines out of here. A little bit of the juice is going to come out naturally, but we want to be careful because we don't want to put all of this juice in, but we're going to save it and add it so that we can make the dip as creamy as we want it to be. We'll add a little bit of this juice, which is really flavor. And this is the sardines' natural juice here. So we'll get all our fish out of here. Boom, boom, boom. And look at that. This is like a nightmare. I know this looks like a bad dream that you had when you were a kid. Look at this. Now this is an alternative ingredient, but again, just like the lemon, it adds a little bit of zing and flavor and pizzazz. This is just some creamy horseradish. And you can do it to taste. Now I've already got my block of cheese kind of softened up. I've had it sitting out for a little bit. So boom, we'll just throw that on there. And then I'm just gonna squeeze me some lemon juice in here. If you don't have fresh lemon, you could just add a little bit of vinegar, like a rice wine vinegar.
You can also use bottled lemon or lime juice.
Yep, so let me go ahead and get this all mixed up. And it's a lot easier if you let your cream cheese soften up a little bit. And you can make it as smooth or as chunky as you like. It just blends up super quick and easy. Let me go ahead and give it a little taste test.
Ooh, even before the smoked paprika.
Usually I like to add a little bit of the juice from the can, to add to the smokiness of the flavor. I just don't think I need to. I think I'm gonna do it though, just for the heck of it, just to illustrate, what you could do. And I know that doesn't make it look any nicer. But you know, if it was a little thicker, if you had more cheese in here, and you needed to thin it out and make it a little more dippy, you can add some of that juice like that. And if you want it to be more smoky flavor, more smoky fishy flavor, you can add a little bit more. But you know, that's not gonna hurt it. That's just gonna make it better. Although it tasted really good without that. But you can add as much juice and thin it out as much as you like, make it as creamy as you like. Like a lot of times when I make it, I'll throw a little bit of this in here, but I'm not even gonna do that. So really, this is just 4 ingredients. Look at this big bowl of fish dip.
Yeah.
And I made this was probably about $9. And this was about $9. Look at that.
Twice as much.
Oh, that's way more than twice as much. Now you can take this to a party. You know, if you take this to a party, they're just gonna open the door, they're gonna take that out of your hand, they're gonna say thank you very much, and then they're gonna shut the door. Because there ain't enough for everybody. But this here, boom, there's enough for everybody. So what are you gonna do with this here? Well, the easiest thing to do is you get a cracker, and you put it in there like that, and then this goes in your mouth.
It could be fancy crackers too.
Mm-hmm. But
You gonna feed your help?
it's no necesito. Okay. I'll give you a wee little bite so you don't have to wait. I'll just feed you. Look at that. So you get full service. You know, and I've seen some recipes that call for mustard. But if you put mustard in here, then it has a little bit of a mustardy taste. Which is duh. But I find that very distracting. I want the smokiness of the fish to come through. But if you add anything else in here, you're going to dilute that smoky, fishy flavor. And then what's the point?
Even minced onion?
I don't like to put onion in fish dip because a lot of times when you make fish dip, you know, you'll refrigerate it and you'll let it sit for a while, you know, overnight, maybe even for a day. It becomes more flavorful. Right?
I agree, yeah.
But if you put fresh onion in there, if you mince up onion in there, again, it just kind of adds a little bit of flavor that I think takes away from the fish dip. And if a cracker isn't fancy enough for you,
A bagel.
but just take a toasted bagel,
Oh, it smells so good. Both smell so good.
put a little bit of fish dip on there. It's like a bagel and cream cheese, right? There's cream cheese in here. So we'll just throw some onion rings around.
Ooh, fancy red.
Yeah, you gotta use red onion if you're gonna eat them raw like this here. Although you could just chop up and use some green onions if you like. Now I'm gonna take a few capers and I'm gonna sprinkle them around here on the cheese. I'm gonna go ahead and spread these capers around so I can kind of smash them into the dip.
Smash them, smash
Then
them.
that way they won't roll away. A couple of thin slices of Tommy toe. Kind of smash it down to hold everything on there. And then we'll throw a couple of capers on there for decoration.
Tell us how it tastes.
Tastes like, you know when Dorothy's skipping down that road?
The yellow brick road.
It's like a dream. Okay, I've got it plated up nice and fancy.
So I'm gonna have to mess this up.
Yeah, that's okay. You're worth it.
It really is great.
If you want to print the recipe, you know, I'll have it written down below. You can take a look at it. Go to myfoodchannel.com. Print all our recipes over there. We really appreciate you watching. Definitely give this smoked fish dip a try. It's really tasty. So if you haven't tried a smoked fish dip, do it. And we'll see you in the future. Bye-bye.